World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day to all of our listeners here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This is World News in 5 and I'm your host, Steph Vicente. Lebanese officials say Hezbollah has agreed to a United States-backed proposal for a ceasefire with Israel, according to a statement from Lebanon's embassy in Washington. Under the plan, the CNN reports, Israeli airstrikes on Beirut's southern suburbs would stop in exchange for Hezbollah halting its attacks on Israel. The proposal is expected to gradually extend the ceasefire across other parts of Lebanon. U.S. President Donald Trump said the agreement was reached through high-level intermediaries, adding that both sides committed to ending hostilities. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warned that Israel would continue striking Beirut if Hezbollah launches further attacks. Prime Minister Netanyahu also said Israeli forces will proceed with planned operations in southern Lebanon. The developments signal cautious progress toward de-escalation, though tensions remain high in the region. In other news overseas, the Trump administration is continuing to draw heavily from the nation's emergency oil reserve in an effort to ease supply shortages linked to the ongoing war with Iran. According to CNN, new data from the Energy Department shows the Strategic Petroleum Reserve lost another 8 million barrels of crude last week following even larger releases in previous weeks. The reserve now stands at about 357 million barrels, its lowest level since early 2024. Analysts warned that at the current pace, stockpiles could soon fall below levels seen during the Biden administration and reach their lowest point in decades. The drawdown comes as the U.S. faces supply disruptions tied to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, a key global shipping route for oil. Since the conflict began, roughly 58 million barrels, about 14% of the reserve, have been released. Experts caution that the declining supply could limit the country's ability to respond to future emergencies, including potential disruptions during the hurricane season. And finally, scientists are racing to develop 3 new vaccines to combat a rare strain of Ebola that has already claimed nearly 250 lives. According to BBC News, the International AIDS Vaccine Initiative says the outbreak could become the worst on record as it works on one of the experimental shots. Meanwhile, the University of Oxford and pharmaceutical company Moderna are also developing vaccines targeting the Bundibugyo strain. The Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, which is funding the effort, stressed the urgency of the situation, saying every day matters. Health officials report more than 1,000 suspected cases in the Democratic Republic of Congo, along with confirmed infections in neighboring Uganda. Experts warn the outbreak could rival or even surpass the scale of 2014 to 2016 West Africa epidemic, which infected tens of thousands. Aid groups including Doctors Without Borders say the rapid rise in cases is deeply alarming, especially as the disease spreads in conflict-affected areas with limited healthcare access. And that concludes today's edition of World News in 5. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
World News in 5.
Right now.
News and developments making headlines around the world in 5 minutes. World News in 5. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.